The morning sun cast golden rays through the hospital window where Julia lay unconscious, her father keeping vigil beside her bed. Marcus Chen, a decorated war veteran with silver threading through his dark hair, sat with his calloused hands clasped together, prayer beads moving slowly between his fingers. 3 days had passed since the incident, and still, his daughter hadn't opened her eyes. The memory haunted him, Julia's scream piercing the autumn air, the scaffolding collapsing at the construction site where she worked as an architect, her body tumbling toward the ground. Marcus had been there purely by chance, visiting to surprise her with lunch. His military instincts kicked in before conscious thought could form. He lunged forward, his hand catching the tail of her safety harness just as it slipped through the guardrail, the momentum nearly pulling him over the edge with her dad. Julia's voice, weak and scratchy, broke through his reverie. Marcus's head snapped up, his weathered face breaking into a relieved smile. Julia, thank God. He pressed the call button for the nurse, then grasped her hand gently. Julia blinked slowly, her vision clearing to reveal her father's concerned face. Memories flooded back, the cracking sound, the sensation of falling, strong fingers gripping her harness, pulling her back from certain death. You saved me, she whispered. Of course I did, Marcus replied, his voice gruff with emotion. You're my daughter, as the medical team rushed in to check her vitals. Julia's mind drifted to another face she'd seen in those chaotic moments, Oscar Rivera, her colleague and the man who'd been quietly capturing her heart over the past year. He'd been the one calling 911, his voice panicked, his eyes locked on hers as she dangled in her father's grip. 2 weeks later, Julia sat in her childhood home, still recovering. The doorbell rang, and Marcus answered it, finding Oscar standing on the porch with a bouquet of flowers and a concerned expression. Mr. Chen, Oscar began, shifting his weight nervously. I came to check on Julia. We've all been worried at the office. Marcus studied the young man before him, early 30s, respectful demeanor, genuine concern in his dark eyes. He'd done his research on Oscar Rivera, architecture degree from Columbia, stellar reputation, and according to Julia's co-workers whom Marcus had casually questioned, completely smitten with his daughter. Come in, Marcus said. Stepping aside, Oscar entered, and Julia's face lit up from her position on the couch. Oscar, you didn't have to come all this way. I wanted to, Oscar replied simply, handing her the flowers. They talked for an hour about work, about her recovery, about everything and nothing. Marcus watched from the kitchen, a plan forming in his military strategist mind. That evening, after Oscar left, Marcus sat down across from Julia. You care about him, he stated. Not a question. Julia's cheeks flushed. Dad, and he cares about you. I can see it clear as day. Marcus leaned forward. Julia, when I grabbed your harness that day, when I felt you slipping away, I realized something. Life's too short for hesitation, too short for waiting for the perfect moment. What are you saying? Marcus smiled, a rare soft expression crossing his usually stern features. I'm saying I've been thinking, in my culture, in our traditions, when a man saves a woman's life, there's a debt, an honor-bound connection. Julia raised an eyebrow. Dad, that's ancient. Let me finish, Marcus interrupted gently. I saved your life, yes, but Oscar, he was there too. He called for help. He stayed with you until the ambulance came. He's been checking on you every single day since. He loves you, Julia, and unless I'm completely blind, you love him too. Julia's eyes welled with tears. I do, she admitted softly, but we've never even were just colleagues, Dad. Friends, maybe. Marcus stood up, walking to the window. Your mother, God rest her soul, she and I knew each other for 3 months before we married. Sometimes you just know. He turned back to face his daughter. I have an idea. A slightly crazy, very traditional idea. 3 days later, Oscar received an urgent call from Marcus, asking him to come to the house. His heart raced as he drove over, fearing something had happened to Julia. When he arrived, Marcus led him to the living room where Julia sat, looking equally confused. Family members Oscar didn't recognize filled the space, aunts, uncles, cousins, all smiling mysteriously. Oscar Rivera, Marcus began formally, standing between the young man and his daughter. You were there when my daughter nearly died. Your quick thinking helped save her life. For weeks now, I've watched you visit, seen the way you look at her, the way she lights up when you arrive. Oscar glanced at Julia, whose eyes were wide with surprise and something else, hope perhaps. Marcus continued. In my family's tradition, there's an old custom. When a man proves his worth, proves his character and his heart, the family can extend an honor. He paused dramatically. Oscar Rivera, my family and I would be honored if you would consider courting my daughter with the intention of marriage. The room fell silent. Oscar stood frozen, processing what he'd just heard. Julia covered her mouth with both hands, tears streaming down her face. Mr. Chen, Oscar began, then stopped. He turned to Julia. Is this what you want? Julia laughed through her tears. You're really asking me that? Oscar, I've been waiting for you to notice me for a year. Oscar crossed the room in 3 strides, dropping to one knee in front of Julia. I've noticed you every single day. I just never thought I was good enough, brave enough, you're everything enough. Julia interrupted, pulling him up to face her. Marcus cleared his throat loudly. So, Oscar Rivera, what do you say? Oscar looked at Julia, then at Marcus, then at the room full of expectant faces. A slow smile spread across his face. Mr. Chen, I would be honored. Julia, I promise to spend every day proving I deserve the gift of your father's trust and your heart. The room erupted in cheers and applause. Marcus stepped forward, pulling Oscar into a tight embrace. Welcome to the family, son. Congratulations, you're the groom. As Julia stood to join them, her father catching her elbow to steady her still healing body, she whispered, Dad, you're absolutely crazy. Marcus winked. Maybe, but life's too short for anything less than crazy love. I learned that when I grabbed your tail to safety and realized how precious every moment truly is. 6 months later, at their wedding, Marcus walked Julia down the aisle toward Oscar, who waited with tears in his eyes. The veteran who'd saved his daughter's life had done more than catch her falling body heat, caught to hearts mid-flight and given them permission to soar together. And as Julia placed her hand in Oscar's, she silently thanked her father for his courage, not just in saving her life, but in recognizing love when he saw it and having the audacity to declare it out loud.